Here.
Either one.
Whoever.
Just a second, and kind of give us a general feeling on how you think the secondary is developing. Spring ball's closing up here.
Yeah, I think first and foremost we got guys competing, and anytime you can create a competitive situation throughout the entire back end, whether it's corner, nickel, any of the safety positions, it's good for your defense. We're able to move guys around in multiple positions, and like I said, as long as we're competing at a high level and with multiple guys in the depth, I think we become a better team.
A lot of people have pointed out Stu Smith and just his development. A guy that didn't get a lot of opportunity last year.
Right.
How's he elevated and become one of the leaders?
He's a guy that loves to communicate, and as long as you communicate on defense, you got a shot, right? And so, and he's been able to be a swing guy for us too. He's been in the plug in at nickel in both safety positions, and execute at a high level. So, just him having that opportunity this spring, and that's what the spring is about. Guys having opportunities to go out and show what they have. I think he's going to be a valuable piece, especially in the special teams game as well.
Have any of the transfers really stood out?
A lot of those guys have played a lot of ball. You talk about guys like Tony Grimes, who's fifth, sixth year senior. Ryan Turner, who started at Ohio State and came to us from Boston College. Those guys have played a lot of snaps, and then in the back end, as far as safeties, with Crew, who you guys just met with, Taj as well. Those guys, Richard Tony, those guys have played a lot of snaps at other places. So they bring in the experience. The one thing you can't simulate, as far as game day experience, you can't simulate that in practice. And so those guys have all stood out and, like I said, have brought a lot of game snaps into this program.
Did you have any connection to Coach Odom at all?
I did not. And it's kind of funny. I look around and everybody in the building has either, played for him or worked with him before somewhere. But I did not. I was at Memphis for the last 5 years. Only connection we had was we both coached at Memphis, not at the same time, but at some point. That was about it.
Well, you just got a phone call out of the blue, I guess?
I did.
About that.
I did get the phone call out of the blue. I was at the last place, and we were preparing for a bowl game, and I got a phone call from Coach, and he talked wanted to talk to me about the DB job here, and so we had a few conversations, talked with Coach Shear as well, and I liked where the program, his vision for it and where it was going to head, and so I decided to make the move.
Cruz said one of the things that leads to him being a better leader maybe is that he's a former quarterback, but also 25 years old, and probably a little bit more grounded, being married and having a home life.
Yeah, being 20, I think he just turned 25 the other day, and he's married and been married for 5 years. So a lot of things, he's been able to handle on his own, and no different than here. Moving here across the country, and then also being able to be playing it, be able to take care of school, do business well there, and then also and he's another guy, like I said, has a lot of game day experience. Communicates well, and with being an older guy, I think guys, follow him and see him as a leader as well.
Just how would you describe this defense overall?
I love the fact that Coach Shear, has an eager mind to continue to grow. We're not sold on anything other than being good at defense, and whatever that looks like, whether it's a 4 down, 3 down, whatever the case may be. We got to be versatile, and the harder we can make it for the quarterback, but also do a lot of the same things for us. It just looks different for the quarterback. The better we can go play fast and get after quarterbacks. And again, those are the guys that run programs, right? And then you also be able to tackle and get a lot of takeaways, throughout the defense, whether it's forced fumbles or interceptions. That's making up a great defense, and he has a vision of that. And I love the fact that, like I said, he's not sold on just doing one thing and being stuck on that. He's able to be multiple, take ideas and put it into play.
You were at a school that was winning a lot of games. What did you like about the challenge of coming here and starting something new at Purdue?
Outside of, I would say, probably Memphis, when I got there, every program I've been at and been a part of, it was, kind of taking it and jumping on board early and getting back to where they used to be, and so for the sakes of here, just 3 years ago was in the Big Ten championship game. So, it's not a rebuilding thing. We're hitting the ground and ready to go this year. So I've been a part of that several times. So I love the fact that, Purdue is in the Big Ten. That's first and foremost. And then also, just like I said, the tradition here. One of my high school teammates actually played here. He was a really good player, and Cliff Averill. Like I said, when he was here, things were rolling. Not too long ago, just a couple of years ago, things were rolling. We're looking to get things rolling this year.
Aside from Stu Smith, have there been any other surprises in the back end of the defense this spring?
I mean, the Hadori Hines is a guy that was here, and he's made a lot of plays. He's a guy that at 195 pounds, 6 foot tall, probably 6'1" almost, and can run. He's a pretty good DB for us, and so just seeing him having opportunities as well to go out there and play, has done some really good things this spring.
Cliff is a dog, man.
Yeah.